Hello, little dreamer. I'm Lulu, the Little Lamb, and I'm so happy to tell you a story tonight. The day is done, the stars are waking, and the world is getting quiet. It's the perfect time to close your eyes and step into a land of wonder. In this special place, the moon shines softly, the wind whispers kindly, and every dream begins with a gentle story. Are you ready to go on a magical journey? A journey where your heart feels safe, your mind becomes calm, and your imagination can fly like a feather on the breeze? Then snuggle up in your bed, pull the blanket close, take a long, deep breath in, and let it out slowly. Close your eyes now, little one, and let's begin. Lulu and the Lake of Forgotten Songs. The morning hadn't truly begun yet. The stars were fading slowly, like the last notes of a lullaby, and the horizon still held its breath, unsure whether to bring dawn or let night linger just a little longer. Lulu, the little sheep, stood at the edge of the dream meadow. She had awoken early, not from a sound, not from a dream, but from something deeper. A quiet pull, not urgent, not loud, just steady. It moved through her chest like a tune she didn't remember learning, and yet had always known. She followed it. Her hooves made barely a sound on the cool ground, through tall grass still heavy with dew, past the sleeping birch trees, their leaves silver and still, beyond a crooked gate of ivy-covered stone that she had never noticed before. The world around her seemed to hold its breath with her. And then, between two old hills where the fog lay thickest, she found it. A lake. So still, so silent, that for a moment she wondered if it were real. But it shimmered faintly, as if remembering stars long gone. It did not ripple. It hummed. Lulu stepped closer, her breath slow, her ears tilted forward. The humming wasn't a melody. Not yet. It was many pieces of melody, soft, broken, waiting. 1,000 songs, none complete. 1,000 voices, none raised. The lake didn't sing. It remembered. She sat near the water's edge, careful not to disturb the stillness. The closer she listened, the clearer it became. Faint phrases rose from the water, like bubbles of sound surfacing. Sleep now, little. Be safe while I'm gone. Always thought I'd come back. Each line faded before it finished. Each note trembled, then vanished. Lulu's eyes grew soft. She had stumbled into something sacred. A place where songs came to rest, not because they were broken, but because they had no one left to sing them. And yet, they had not disappeared. They floated still, waiting. The mist above the lake drifted in patterns, spirals, loops, soft curls. As Lulu watched, she realized the mist was moving with the music. Not to a rhythm you could tap or dance to a rhythm you felt, like breath or memory. She leaned closer to the water. A new phrase surfaced, so delicate it nearly dissolved on the breeze. I sang this only once, when I was brave enough. Lulu blinked, and suddenly she could feel the song behind the words. It was not hers, but it pulsed through her chest as if it might have been. She lay down slowly, her head near the waterline. Her breath matched the quiet lull of the lake. A small light flickered below the surface, faint and golden, shaped like a falling note. More lights followed. Each glowed with the warmth of a voice that had once dared to rise, then disappeared unheard, unfinished. These weren't just melodies. They were leftovers of longing, fragments of lullabies whispered to the wind, hums never dared aloud, songs made in silence because no one had been listening. Lulu felt tears, not sad, but tender, gather at the corners of her eyes. The lake was not lonely. It was full, so full it had grown quiet, the way a heart sometimes does when it has carried too much beauty and sorrow at once. Then she heard it, a melody so faint it barely stirred the air. Little one, don't fear the light. Even shadows sing at night. It vanished before it could end. Lulu whispered, I've never heard that before. And yet she had. In her wool, in her hooves, in every step she had ever taken toward something unknown. Something inside her stirred. Not a thought, not even a feeling. A note. One she hadn't known she'd been holding. The air around Lulu grew warmer, not with heat, but with memory. She reached one hoof out toward the lake. The surface didn't break. It welcomed her. The water felt like velvet, like dusk, like the inside of a lullaby. A ripple moved outward from her touch, slow, deep. And then a light rose. Not fast, not bright, just certain. It hovered above the surface like a candle's flame, flickering in tune with a sound only Lulu could hear. And then it sang, not out loud. Inside, a voice formed around her heart. I used to sing this when I was small, before I knew what silence felt like. Lulu blinked. The note rose gently and dissolved. More lights stirred beneath the surface. Some shaped like feathers, some like notes. One looked like the soft curve of a sleeping animal. Each one held a memory. Each one held a moment where a voice once tried. Lulu sat with them. No words, no need, only presence. And slowly, a sound began to build, not from the lake, but from within her. She didn't try to shape it. She let it hum. It began as a whisper in her chest, then a low vibration behind her teeth, then breath. A sound that wasn't quite singing, but wasn't not. It held the ache of things unsaid, the glow of things she hoped, the softness she never let others see. And as it grew, something astonishing happened. The lake answered. The lights below rose in reply, like fireflies greeting a familiar dusk. Lulu's hum wove between them, not above, not through, with. She was not finishing their songs. She was joining them, and in doing so, they became complete. Lulu's hum softened, becoming breath again. The lake grew still once more, almost reverent. Then, somewhere deeper than before, a single low tone rose. Not in harmony, not in response, in remembrance. Lulu stilled. The sound was slow, shaped like grief and made of air. And it spoke, not in language, but in something older. I used to sing, but no one listened. So I stopped, and then I forgot how. Lulu's heart clenched gently. She didn't speak. Instead, she leaned toward the sound. The lake opened in her mind like a doorway through fog, and she saw a creature, its shape unclear, shifting, curled in the dark part of the lake, surrounded by dim lights that had never risen. It was not hiding. It had simply stopped believing it would be heard. Lulu whispered, "Would you like me to stay?" The water trembled. "Yes, but don't sing for me. Sing with me, even if I don't remember how. So Lulu closed her eyes. She drew breath, and she began again. This time, she didn't hum what she knew. She hummed what she felt. The ache of almost songs, the pull of nearly spoken things, the quiet hope that someone might hum back. And deep below, a second voice began. Faint, cracked, but real. It joined hers like morning joins night, gently. Together they shaped a tune with no beginning, no end, only middle, only now. And in that middle, something changed. A light, deep in the lake, flared, not bright, but true. The creature unfolded, and for the first time in a long, long time, it sang. The light rose from the depths like a breath finally exhaled. It shimmered above the lake, not bright, but steady. And as it hovered in the pale morning air, Lulu heard the final note of the song she and the hidden voice had shared. Not with her ears, with her whole being. It was not loud, it was not perfect, but it was. And that was everything. The light lingered for a while longer, then slowly floated upward into the waking sky, leaving a quiet glow behind on the surface of the lake. The water shimmered again, this time not with unfinished songs, but with something resolved. Lulu stood. The world had changed. Not outside, inside her. She turned to look one last time at the water, and for a brief moment, she heard her own voice reflected back. A note she hadn't sung yet, a song she didn't need to finish. Not now, not alone. She walked back toward the dream meadow. The sun had begun to rise in soft streaks of gold and violet. Birds stirred in the trees. The wind stretched. And in Lulu's chest, a melody hummed. It didn't need words. It didn't need to be remembered. It just was. That night, when the stars returned and the meadow sighed with sleep, Lulu curled up beneath the sky. She looked up, then whispered, "Some songs never end. They just wait until someone listens." And far away, behind the hills and through the trees, the lake shimmered once more, not to be heard, but to be felt. And in its hush, a new song began. Thank you so much for joining me on this gentle adventure. I loved having you here, and I hope your heart feels warm and calm. Now it's time to rest, to let your thoughts slow down and your dreams begin. Close your eyes, little dreamer. Let the night wrap around you like a soft, cozy blanket. Sleep deeply, sleep peacefully, and know that you're safe, loved, and never alone. We'll meet again very soon in the land of stars and dreams.